Everything I'm about to tell you is alleged. I'm not going to have a bunch of lawyers, top dog lawyers suing me. Everything I'm saying or about to say, every morsel, every word, every vowel, every consonant, every S, every enye is alleged. Okay? I can only logically deduce facts and put my anchor into as hardline facts as I can anchor without seeing it with my own two eyes. I have to preface every video now by saying that there will be a small bit of speculation, but with a lot of due diligence. Because when you speculate and then you make your stance, you actually have to put 30, 40, 50 times the amount of due diligence and effort into your research and data collectment versus you just seeing it with your own two eyes. Let's get it. Let's go. What I'm about to show you guys is an internal document used internally by prosecutors. It's not intended as public or identity revealing list. Its purpose was simply to inform victims of their legal rights under the federal law under the 2008 non-prosecution agreement. Extract which one of these numbered Jane Does were from New Mexico versus outsiders. But then it gives us that value here because it cross-references the data based on the CVRA public filing that is about to come out from these Jane Does. But we see an anomaly here. Jane Doe 3, Jane Doe 4, and Jane Doe 7, outsiders. And then we go to the West Mesa murders and we look what they would be like in chronological order if they were in order of Jane Does. And we see 3 and we see 7 are outsiders. Yeah, something's a little fishy there, huh? Syllania Edwards and Virginia Cloven. 3 and 7. And the Zorro Ranch indictment about to come out. 3 and 7. Yeah, that's where we'll start this video. I sold it all from crack to OPM in third person. I stand by my people. So this one's for you. You guys want to know why the feds are using a lawyer by the name of Bradley J. Edwards to grill Alan Dershowitz? Because the federal government has to back this individual to represent the victims and then to spew off a bunch of information to protect the victims. Like Alan Dershowitz had Jane Doe 3. They're saying Alan Dershowitz did stuff with Jane Doe 3. They picked this guy out for a reason. His name is Bradley Edwards. Well, guess what? One of our victims in West Mesa has the last name Edwards. And that's who we will be fighting for and solving first. I'm doing it for my brothers and sisters. You will be first, Miss Edwards. God rest your soul. Bradley Edwards, who in the affidavit, in the civil division, I have the lawyer going against Alan Dershowitz in court. Dershowitz with the rebuttal like I've never seen her before. So they are saying that she has created witness statements and actually under oath created witness testimony and is now filing a CVRA lawsuit that she has rights as a sex trafficked victim. Dershowitz is like, okay, we need her to show her face. So he says, I need information out of her. I have him scathing Jane Doe number 3. I have him saying here in 2015 that publicly that he's seeking the deposition of non-party Jane Doe number 3 in the case because he hopes to bring a new lawsuit against her, and we're considering suing her for defamation. We found her, we served her, and now she'll be subjected to deposition. See Exhibit 4. Are you sure about that, pal? Yeah, they're litigating in court thinking that I would never solve this. Like I could never unravel that onion and blow everything to shreds. I've been reading Epstein files. I've read thousands of pages of Epstein files already. And this one's the most egregious. I have you lying in court, Bradley Edwards. I said, oh, I found Edwards. I found Jane Doe 3 hiding in Colorado. We found her, and she will have to be deposed. But are you sure about that, family? Oh, that's what you're doing, because the federal government, they will not say the name New Mexico. They will not say New Mexico anywhere in the files. Do you want to know why? Because they all know that all these girls are dead. This lawyer right here knows that Jane Doe 3 is dead. But yet he lies and says, we found her, we served her, and now she'll be subjected to deposition. I'm so glad that she's African American. I'm so glad that she's black, because I get to stand up for my black sister, and I get to show you the ultimate corruption. I get to show you that I'm the GOAT. The Alphabet Boys, the Fed, chooses Bradley J. Edwards. Look at her last name. Purposely chose a lawyer with the same last name. So when you look up the files, when you actually go in and they know that she's going to be a John Doe, they cannot link John Doe to Edwards because Edwards is a lawyer.
You got the big box, stop.
Oh, shucks. You thought you had us, didn't you, feds? It's game over. Syllania, this one is for you. I literally have this lawyer lying under oath. Look at this. This is actual Epstein files. Look at this. Look. I have attached the government's opposition to the petitioner's motion to add Jane Doe 3 and Jane Doe 4 to the lawsuit. You can't. Nobody knows that she's gone. Look, Bradley Edwards, Epstein. And then I'm like, well, how is Edwards getting mentioned? But I thought Bradley Edwards was her father. Yeah, look at these chumps. Look what they have to do. Document includes all drafts in the document. Edwards, quote unquote Edwards, you and your means Bradley Edwards. Epstein means Jeffrey Epstein. Federal action means the matter styled Jane Doe 1 versus United States. Jane Doe 3, quote unquote, means individual referred to as Jane Doe 3 in federal action. You know why they have to do this? It's because Jane Doe 3 is Edwards, and we got Edwards trying to hide Jane Doe's name. We don't want to ruin and undermine the fact that we don't want people to know that this is actually Jane Doe 3, but we're here, and I found out because I love this shit, and it was meant to be this way. Why are you trying to hide? This is a conflict of interest. You shouldn't even represent this case, buddy. Your last name alone makes you not applicable for this one, champ. You should have sat this one out, but you were purposely chosen, I believe, because it's hard enough to find anything about Zorro, anything about New Mexico, and now we want to put one layer of security up underneath that by doing this. I see it now. After reading thousands of pages, I see what y'all do now, and it's so funny. Jane Doe 3 filed in federal action on January 21st, 2015. They're trying to make it look like she's still alive, guys. Look at this. All photographs and videos of Zorro Ranch. All notes in any investigation of Jane Doe 3's allegations against Dershowitz. This chick had a lot of dirt on these individuals. All documents concerning Jane Doe 3's diary journal. Listen to this. All telephone records, including Jane Doe 3 between 1999 and 2002. But why, Epstein? Why you lying? You got you trapped in all these affidavits. Look here. We'll go back to the original. All right, you ready? Hey, TJ, Gretzner, man. Hey, I know they lie, but I'm smarter than them. West Mesa, unsolved murders, 20 years in running. I'll do one for y'all. Syllania Edwards has been solved. Take a look. Here we go. Jane Doe 2. Okay, here we go. Short time later. Jane Doe 3 left a massage, asking her to perform another massage. And we go down here, and we see January 6, 2005, made a telephone call to Jane Doe 3. Jane Doe 3. Here we go. On or about February 3rd, 2005, Epstein traveled from Columbus, Ohio, and they boarded a Boeing 757. Now, I've done so much due diligence that I know that this little girl dies actually 5 weeks later. She only survives till about, I think, right around March or April. Yeah, she doesn't survive anymore. That's why they don't put her in the indictment, because she's not alive. She never told her age to Epstein, but she never said she was 18. And check this out. She goes to school with Jane Doe 4, which we know too, and She and JD7 were at the same school and were in the same class. JD4 told Epstein she was a junior. What's a junior? Junior's 17. Oh, but fam, I'm gonna stop you there. They actually did put this little girl in the indictment. They actually prosecuted Epstein based on West Mesa murders, and that case could never have even been brought to court because you have to prove the murders first. Like, you have to prove the murders first, and then you can do that. But the feds actually used Operation Leap Year, and they froze the West Mesa investigation to put this thing through, and then they killed him in prison saying, okay, eye for an eye, which I get it, but I would have actually wanted to give the families their justice rather than trying to prove get a closure out of a sex trafficking case and say we got him because he got y'all, because he bribed y'all and he got some of y'all best friends with tapes, and so you wanted to get him in court and do the perp walk on him. They didn't, dude. They know who did it. Everybody knows who did it in law enforcement, and then they pushed this through and swept it under the rug. I can prove that. This is bad. What I want you to understand, and we're gonna slow down the 1.25 speed, and I'm gonna talk to you regularly. This was part of Operation Leap Year. So what they did was they wanted to prosecute this case in the state of New York and in the state of Florida. They wanted to close out the sex trafficking case based on little girls that ended up being sex trafficked and then groomed to get other girls out there, and they're basing their whole case on little girls that aren't even alive anymore, sir. That's why they had to kill him in prison. I'm going to make the whole system crumble, and this is because I got God with me. The whole system is about to crumble, G. I'm gonna lock my doors, and I got a 12 gauge right by my damn chest. I promise you, because this is scary. I have so much. I have Zorro Ranch. I know exactly where this is not funny. This is facts. Now, the scary part, and now we want to analyze the adverse, is that what really happened here? Like, what really happened here? Okay, Epstein thought he had free reign while he was at Zorro and while he was at the New Mexico Ranch. He had the property since 91. We will break down everything at the Zorro Ranch. I got at least 2 hours of content on the Zorro Ranch. So anybody that's not here, that just got here, please leave a comment. Please like the video because I want everybody here. I want everyone to share this for awareness. In the adverse, the FBI tipped off Epstein by trying to get to a witness and try to get to one of these sex workers. And then the sex worker most likely got that back to Epstein. Epstein got spooked March 31st at 05. And at that point in time, after March 31st, 2005, that is the date. And I'm going to do more due diligence. Anybody have more information that wants to add it in? This is like Candace's show. This is at more tips. Drop it in the comments. I want any information you have on this little girl, or any information that we can add to this. I want to add to it because I want the family to get the closure they need. The government don't care about us, guys, or they would have prosecuted this first. So, yes, this is what I'm saying, that the West Mesa bone collector, in the essence, in self, was created by an FBI investigation where they were already targeting him, and then he wiped the map. Because he didn't want to he's a mathematician as well. He knows the probability of this is X, this is how I get caught, and this is how I don't get caught. So after March 31st of 2005, a mass exodus, and I'll prove that, and I'll show you the documentation and due diligence I have in the next video, that there was a mass exodus event. It wasn't just one after one after one. It was literally a mass exodus event. Bodies stacked north to south facing. I looked into everything, how deep the bodies were buried, what position they were buried in, who's buried next to who. I looked up everything because I want justice, unlike the federal government. Because I got the Lord on my side. I'm doing things the right way. I'm doing things, the Lord is the truth and the light. He needs to shine through right now. Evil is over. I need God to shine through. And just in case you have some discrepancy on, is it Jane Doe 3 is da-da-da? Well, I could even go here. We look at the actual, like, chronologically in order. We have Monica Candelaria, we have Victoria Chavez, and number 3 is Syllania Edwards. In the chronological order of the West Mesa killings. They are so fucking stupid. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to belittle the government. We're just going to solve this crime. Because I've spent literally 40 hours straight on this because I can't stop. I cannot believe I'm finding this stuff out. And I saw the 20-year crime, the most infamous crime that ever occurred in this state. I have so much to show you. There is so much going on. Epstein died at 66. He is the Antichrist. Christ is 33. Jesus is 33. Epstein died at 66. He is the Antichrist. Evil will not win. God will win. Syllania Edwards, rest in heaven. R.I.P. And then Epstein said she was going to give JD3 a vibrator for her 18th birthday, knowing that it was her 18th birthday, and offered to fly JD3 to his home in Virgin Islands after she was 18. Well, she didn't get to 18 because peep game. Didn't make it. So when is her B-day? I go hard with the AI, but we're talking about Syllania Edwards, okay? Syllania Tareen Edwards, okay? Was one of 11 that was buried in West Mesa, okay? When she had been 18, she was 15 in 03, which I'm going to show you. But she ended up in a grave in West Mesa. I don't know about you, TJ, but 15, I was a sophomore. If I'm a junior, like it says in the indictment, the federal government put that out there. So, and I'm deciphering it, kid. Then she would have been exactly this age. I was 16 going into my junior year, and then I would have been 17 going into my senior year. And it shows you here, okay, they're corresponding in, right now in February of 2004. And we know that it says here she turned 17 in November 26th of 04. That's her birthday. And so Epstein's dangling that carrot, but unfortunately, she doesn't get there. And do you want to know how I know this is the same exact little girl? And ladies and gents, before I throw down the hammer, before I throw down the trump card, this will be solidified for everyone that is still up in the air like, what is this guy even talking about? Has he linked anything to anything? Yes, I will reveal everything and it will come full circle. Let me tell you that correspondence that was FBI supposed intelligence, it was made up. Half of that was made up. You're making her seem like Epstein was going to give her a thing and give her this. That transcript is not real because A, they're putting it together knowing she's not alive, that they can't even bring her to subpoena her to even testify. 2, they can fabricate it because they're going to redact her name because she's a minor. They can make up whatever they want. I just showed you at the beginning, they're trying to pin Jane Doe 3, the individual that's there to protect the victims, this deceased little girl, against Dershowitz for an ulterior motive. This freedom of information under the Jeffrey Epstein loophole is some of the best single-handed moments of truth the world has ever had, because it exposes the government. The government did not want this stuff out. They are clowns. They are literally putting anything in documentation. This is worse than looking over at your homework right before you're about to turning it in and copying that homework, because even when you copy somebody's homework, you're glancing over, you are actually jotting down. Let's say you copied from the smartest person in class. I maybe copied one time in my whole career. I feel terrible for it, but what did I do? I copied off of the woman that got a full ride to West Point, and I sat right behind her in chemistry class, and she knew I was nice. She was like, I'll let you do it this once. And she never let anybody copy, so they're like, oh, she's actually letting you copy of her work? And that was the one time. I felt bad for it. I felt terrible for it. But my point is that you actually still retain some of that information because it's getting jotted down. Your hand-eye coordination is writing it down, so you will still retain some of it. This right here is jotting random jargon down that makes no fucking sense and actually submitting it under oath and undermining the entire judicial system. So this girl, this little girl that lost her mom to a vicious act and a calculated act, and we don't know about her father, but we know that she was in the system since 14 years old. And this individual had the hardest of hard lives, and Jeffrey came around and made it even worse. Dangled a little bit of wealth and success and stripped it all away in one night. You're going to say that this individual, 03, they get a denial from a fake document and motion that you submit to the judge. So that is fraud. You should get charged for this. Filed a CVRA motion that got denied. Thank God, because you guys are all colluding and you work together. Then the FBI interviews our Jane Doe 3 in Australia in 2011. What? Get out of here. So the FBI, the crew that we pay for, they wanted a trip to Australia. Like it's Wheel of Fortune, and you land on it and you get to pick that placard up. We'll say that Jane Doe, who hasn't had any structure since 14, has a passport now and is in Australia. and is still there. Oh yeah, because she got trafficked there, and now she's just chilling in Australia. Like, what? Just say y'all wanted to go to Australia and take the time off. You guys are in the highest of the hierarchy anyway. Take a look. This is crazy. And then you purposely leave any word or morsel of New Mexico or morsel of Zorro, so you can't even tie it basic through jargon or words or through language that this means this means this. Well, guess what? I've already went through the manifests. I've already went through the internal prosecutor document. And in the next video, we are going to break all the way down the United States of America versus Jeffrey Epstein, where we actually go through and you walk us down the timeline. Actually, I'm going to walk you down the timeline, because if this is real and you didn't investigate and you didn't actually submit this because you had an easier task going into Florida and getting the closure and the conviction, I'm going to be on your neck. I'm going to be on your head top. FBI? This is crazy. I want to thank the Constitution and the rights in our country that I'm able to have free speech and I'm able to go at y'all like this. I have the right to free speech. You guys are clowns. And I caught ya. Because she's not alive. The corruption is everywhere. And so guess what? What does that do in the adverse? The FBI, using her subpoena and all her testimony and all that, they fabricated it, guys. She's not alive. All of it is a facade. All of it. So, way to go, FBI, just throwing something on the line and making it stick because she's a redacted name and you don't care to actually unredact her name to solve the murder in New Mexico. You closed it out in Florida and you got your closure. You got your conviction. You got your bullshit clearance. Your conviction rate stays squeaky clean. But there's still unsolved crimes over here on the West, buddy. You're trying to make the excuse that Jane Doe 3, that was a runaway, that is your prime case, that is the case because she is the youngest Jane Doe. You're trying to make it seem like she's going to school. She ran away at 15 and you expect her to be a junior. You guys are idiots. You guys did not want these files to come out. Because Edwards was a runaway and involved, and this is no disrespect because I wish and I want her to win. I wish she would have won, man. I do. I'm pissed off for her. And so I will grind and work for your justice. Because she was a runaway and involved in these type of circumstances, there are no records indicating she was enrolled or attending school when she disappeared. Her life situation at the time was focused on survival and coping with being on her own rather than normality, the mundane, the stuff we take for granted of just going to school. When we break down every single one of these individuals, guys, and I will do one for every one of these ladies that deserves justice, understand that they lived a very bad life and it was compounded by this monster coming in and stripping them from everything. And just because he's got you bribed, got you wanting to do some freaky little things, you can't touch the man. That's on y'all. Florida, and you got your closure, you got your conviction. The gov never wanted these files to come out. They can say all they want that they did. The government never wanted these files to come out. Never. Because you think a transient, and this is all respect to Edwards, because this is a hard life. This is why I do believe in a little bit of critical race theory, that your upbringing will dictate your life. And that's what makes me want to cry. That it says here that Epstein said that she and JD3 went to the same school, and that JD4 told Epstein she was a junior. Come on. She was a transient. She didn't go to school. This is not even a real transcript. Epstein didn't do half of the shit that they said that he did. They did it to prosecute. He did do some bad shit. Obviously, some really bad shit. But I'm talking about on paper that they can prove. They can't prove anything, so they're putting it in the affidavit and just throwing it in there. They're not even doing their job. These dudes are corrupt. She was not in school. She just wasn't. So this doesn't make any sense, and they didn't think that any of this would get out. Well, I'm reading every single letter and word, FBI boys, because you're shit at your job. Jane Doe Syllania, yo, what was good? I'm telling you, we did this for you. I want to show you. I've read thousands and thousands and thousands of pages. I've been grilling this AI about Jane Doe 3 for the last 2 to 3 hours because I cannot release this to the family. I cannot put this out here. I cannot be doing it for my brothers and my sisters without it being facts. If it's Jane Doe, it's not going to link to a person. It's not going to give you any details about the person. I've been grilling this AI forever, trying to get any morsel of information out on Jane Doe 3. What if Jane Does were all dead by the time the case came to trial? I'm getting all that due diligence, okay? I'm going to show you every question I asked it. Was the case number pertaining to why are they so worried about Jane Doe 3 and what is it, the party's stance? Because they revealed what I just showed you, that they revealed that morsel of information that she's from Colorado, that we served her in Colorado. Sure you did, pal. Sure you did. Both sides of the case are crumbling with this video. I'm crumbling the Fed's case. I'm crumbling the independent case that is protecting the victims. Everyone is lying in court, and I'm proving it with this video. Is this the same Jane Doe in United States versus Epstein? Yes. I've been grilling about this Jane Doe 3 forever because I have Jane Doe 7. And that is what broke this. New Mexico, in this current state, is trying to bring out information. You can take my due diligence and what I'm bringing to the table, and you can put it out as yours. I'm putting this out before New Mexico law enforcement. Look at this. Who represented her before the CVRA case? I'm showing ultimate corruption. Please show the diagram. Who took the testimony of Jane Doe 3, United States versus Epstein? It was all FBI. They didn't even do 302 forms. I say all that to say, boom, what's she doing in 103? Look at all this due diligence. But I come down here. I want to get this off because I have no more data on my phone. I have Cloven at 7. Cloven is 7. Edwards is 3. So with that inside information, look what it does. With that inside information, look what it does. It unlocks. Look what it does. It starts to go there. Look, alleged victim contacted by FBI. 7, another, quote, outsider, victim, origin outside the New Mexico. Boom. This is the question that unlocks everything and brings it around to West Mesa. I gotcha. Yes, and how many outsiders of the NM group were there? Boom. Jane 1 through 10, which I have a whole video already pumped out for you, ready to go, are all from New Mexico. Jane 3 and 7 are quote unquote outsiders. These are every single one of the West Mesa killings. And look, it just revealed Jane Doe info. Number 3, outsider from Oklahoma. We did it for you, girl. This is Edwards. We just linked it with AI. They shouldn't have gave us this information, but they did. And then they gave us Cloven. And they just told us, they just snitched on themselves that they gave us insider information on the New Mexico investigation they're doing right now. Sorry. You can't go back on it. Because look, the AI will go back on itself and say, oops, I gave you too much information. Look at this. Look, it basically wants to say, no, I didn't give you that. Look, because I try to call it out again. It's like, no, I didn't tell you 1 through 10 was da-da-da. There's no public document showing Jane Doe 1 through 10 are from New Mexico. See, I already got you, buddy. You linked it to West Mesa right here, and you can't go back on it. 1 through 10, New Mexico victims. What does this look like, guys? Yep. Something that I'm going to bring out to you guys. Where's my document, man? Yeah, you're going to see. I have so much due diligence. Like, I have it all. So I'll do that. I'll just show you that real quick. That we got a lot to show you. We're at too. Facts. There it is. Yep. Cloven. And then we have the New Mexico team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Outsider. Stop it. We did this for you. I'm not going to belittle the audience. I don't want to do that to y'all. But you guys are going to be like, well, you know all this information. Why not just give it to law enforcement? Fuck no. You ever seen Dexter and Trinity? He works for law enforcement. That is our law enforcement. You want me to walk you to where I know that you should dig? You give me a ring or you hit my DM, FBI, NM State Police, NM Law Enforcement, and I'll walk you to the site. You're not getting my intelligence and then ripping it to shreds. Guys, we have to look at the human mind and how it works and what has transpired over the 20 years since the 15 years since this little girl has passed away. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein had race criteria when procuring girls, accuser said. Epstein and Maxwell allegedly instructed one of their victims to procure other young girls for them to abuse, but specifically asked them not to go after people of color. New unsealed documents. And guess why they said that? Guess why? They couldn't be black. Other than white, they had to be exotically beautiful. That was just about it. But why? It wasn't like Epstein didn't like black girls. It was because one of the first young girls that they ever had to kill, that they'd killed, was black. And so if they show a preference to this race, it will harden those facts once those bodies are dug up and I point the finger at you two. This was one of their first kills. But that's why. It had nothing to do with race. It had everything to do with down the line in the future and what was going to happen. If they showed a favoritism toward girls of color, it shows, oh, he is a prime suspect. No, it shows that he doesn't like them when he really does like them. He can't have them anymore because he ruined his opportunity and he killed a young girl. But we have to understand how the human mind and dynamic works. When the memory stick has already gone to two trusted other officials, so you get me and you put me there next to the 11, well then that stick is still going to get released to the masses. No hockey. So let's all do the sign of the cross. Mrs. Edwards, you're first. God bless and rest your soul. Mama, I love you. P.O.P., I'm gonna hold you down. Rest up. Fly high.
Oh, I missed it.
A and B, we all we got left.
You see, that's what I do. I sing. That's my outlet. You need one.
I ain't no fucking singer.
But you are one of the best I've ever heard. When you rhyme, it's like music to me. It's magic. Don't ever take it for granted. You have a gift. You have to share it. Understand? Come on, pun. Just try.
Sing it with me
one time. And they all know. You understand? And they all know that you the one.
And though the rain keeps falling down.
Yeah. Like that, twin. You got it. Now they all know.
Mom, I'ma make it. Do it for you. I'ma hold you down. I can see you. And everything about this book when we gets it out the mud. Please stay tuned. I'ma make it. Do it for you. I'ma hold you down.
No, I got you, twin.